The classic stadium, the classic rivalry, the classic pitching matchup, and the classic New England autumnal day. Fenway Park, Boston, teeming since late morning with the hope that lives everlastingly in the heart of every fan of the Old Town team. They are here to see for the most anticipated pitching matchup since perhaps the season this cathedral opened. Today's heart of the Red Sox, Pedro Martinez, against yesterday's heart of the Red Sox, Roger Clemens. From Fenway Park in Boston, it's Game 3 of the American League Championship Series, the Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees. With Joe Buck, Tim McCarver, and Bob Brenly standing by for the play-by-play, and alongside Steve Lyons, I'm Keith Olbermann. On the 6th of September, 1912, when the paint was still wet on brand new Fenway Park, Red Sox youngster Smokey Joe Wood put his 13-game winning streak on the line against the pitcher of his generation, Walter Johnson of the Washington Senators. Wood was a 1-0 winner. Not since then has there been such anticipation. Clemens, Steve, versus Martinez.
This is unbelievable. This probably is the greatest pitching matchup that this stadium will ever see. And not just because they're two great pitchers going at it, but because of the history. Roger Clemens is the guy that owns almost every franchise record that this Boston Red Sox club has. He's the best pitcher in franchise history, going up against the guy that swooped in here to pick up the pieces after he left. We sat down with the starting pitchers of Game 3, the guy with 5 Cy Young Awards, Roger Clemens, against the guy who's the best pitcher of this year, Pedro Martinez.
You're not going to sit here and tell me that this is just another game.
Well, I don't think this is just another game. I mean, I don't think this series is just another series. As an athlete and as a pitcher, you're going to go out there on center stage. It's exciting. It's exciting for me because I know everybody else will be fired up. The atmosphere will be right.
It's not like this Game 3 needs any more pressure, but now you come back here down 2 games again, and then it's your responsibility to go out there and get a big win for the Sox again.
I like that. I like the challenge. I like, the big expectations, and that's what makes it fun. And I wish that every game that we play has as much, meaning as this does. Because that way you get 100% everything you got.
2 years ago, Pedro, this year did the Triple Crown. I did it 2 years in a row. And I got a handshake and a pat on the back, and way to go, nobody noticed. McGuire and Associate hitting all these bombs. Big deal, pitcher did a Triple Crown again. 20 wins, and I went home, and I was watching this. And now I'm going to be center stage and partaking in it, and I'm excited about it.
In the pregame introductions, Roger Clemens was booed lustily, almost more loudly than any player was cheered. So let me ask you, the question I heard on the trolley from every Red Sox fan on the way over. What do you think?
I got to tell you, for this game and maybe this game only, I can't go out on a limb and tell you what I think, because all I want to do is be a fan and watch this. I don't want to take my eyes off the game. I want to see every pitch. I want to see how the players react. I want to see how they see the ball on this day, starting at 4 o'clock game, a little bit after 4. It's going to be an unbelievable game if it even comes close to living up to the hype.
All right, the way hype works, it'll probably be 12-10.
Yeah.
We'll have more of his conversation, and also ahead, another anticipated pitching matchup. A 46-year-old minister from Knoxville throws one pitch for $2 million. That and more with Rocket, Pedro, and Steve next.
Welcome back to Fenway Park. This might very well be Pedro's house now, as Roger Clemens will pitch for the Yankees here today. And as Keith Olbermann talked about, just a beautiful autumn day here in New England. Temperature in the 60s, and it couldn't be more pleasant here at the ballpark. It should heat up quite a bit when Roger Clemens goes to the mound for the Yankees this afternoon. He will be throwing to his catcher, Joe Girardi, and he will be throwing with a strike zone called by Rick Reed, who had a mild reception when he was introduced. They did boo him here at Fenway Park, blowing the call, admittedly so, in Game 1 of the ALCS at second base. He works the plate with Al Clark joining him. Dale Scott at second. Tim Tschida is over at third. Tim McClellan down the left field line. Dan Morrison down the right side. And while Clemens walks in, the Red Sox trot out to their positions, getting ready for the first inning of this Game 3.
Cheers, where everyone knows your name, and everybody knows that guy's name in New England.
Pedro Martinez ready to work to the New York Yankees, and a look at the Budweiser starting lineup for Joe Torre's crew. Chuck Knobloch will lead off at second base. We highlight Derek Jeter, the shortstop, who bats second, hitting .444 since the curtain came down on the regular season. Paul O'Neill hitting third and right. Bernie Williams cleans up. Tino Martinez at first. It's Chili Davis, the DH, batting sixth. Ricky Leday's in left. Scott Brosius hitting eighth at third base, and Joe Girardi catching and batting ninth. And a look at the Red Sox defensively.
Same lineup Jimmy Williams has gone with throughout the postseason. Troy O'Leary, Darren Lewis, Trot Nixon across the outfield. Valentin, Garciaparra, Offerman, and Stanley. Veritek catching for Pedro Martinez. You see Offerman, no errors in 31 chances this postseason. This from a man that led the National League in errors 3 times.
One of the key things for a hitter is to stay back, and nobody alters a hitter staying back like Pedro Martinez. 23-4, an earned run average of 2.07, 313 strikeouts and only 213 in the third innings. And his postseason, following that game last Monday, 6 shutout, no-hit innings against Cleveland.
And you see the scouting report on Pedro Martinez, an atom-charged movement on that fastball that he can work to both sides of the plate. Changes up and changes up on his changeup. In a very tight curveball, that gives him 3 outstanding pitches to attack this Yankees lineup.
This will be an important factor and something that will be critical here in the opening innings against the likes of Pedro Martinez and Roger Clemens, the hitter's background behind the pitcher's mound.
You may remember back in 1978, the 163rd game of the season, the Bucky Dent home run. That inning with Rick Burleson on at second base. Jerry Remy hit a ball flagged by Lou Piniella. Lou saying later that he never saw this ball. But by making that play, he kept Burleson at second base. And Carl Yastrzemski was to make the last out, popping up in foul territory to Greg Nettles, and the Yankees won it.
And with the shades already on, it's Trot Nixon out there for the Red Sox. You can think back to 1968. In game 1 of the World Series between the Cardinals and the Tigers, Bob Gibson, Denny McClain, Johnny Sain and Bob Feller. Braves in Cleveland, game 1 of the 1948 World Series. This matchup is along those same lines. Pedro Martinez and Roger Clemens. The Red Sox and the Yankees, game 3. Yankees up 2-0, and away we go on a Saturday afternoon. Ball 1 from Martinez, and the broadcast also available in Spanish by utilizing the SAP button on your television. It'll be Knobloch, Jeter, and O'Neill here in the first inning for the Yankees. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And as you might expect in our conversation with both managers today, as you get a look at that tough sun out in right field, both managers saying that they would more than likely play for a run early in this ball game. You don't figure to score a lot off of either starter.
Up and in. That's typical from Martinez. Get Knobloch off the plate. 2 balls and a strike.
Not only play for a run early, but perhaps bring the infield in with a runner on at third and less than 2 outs in the first or second inning.
Knobloch with a count in his favor takes ball 3, 3-1. Knobloch only 4 out of 19 in this postseason. 1 RBI. Jeter, who we highlighted during the lineup portion of our broadcast on deck. The 3-1. Full count.
That 1 RBI, a big one in game 2. A couple of days ago, driving in Ricky Leday to tie it. And then Knobloch driven in by Paul O'Neill to win it.
This crowd wants to see the first strikeout of the afternoon. Instead, Knobloch flies it to right with that bad sun field. Nixon glasses on, 1 away. So the leadoff man is gone for the Yankees, and Derek Jeter will stand in.
You can see by the shadow behind Trot Nixon, he's playing this ball off to the side so he doesn't have to look back into that glaring sun. Gets himself in a good position, gets the sun over his left shoulder, and makes the catch.
And now Derek Jeter, who is 8 out of 18 in the postseason, 3 of 7 in this LCS. Coming off a year in which he led the major leagues. with his 219 hits. Ball one. Hard hit and through the left side. Jeter is the first base runner of the afternoon.
This matches the Yankees' number of hits the last time they faced Pedro Martinez. Chili Davis hit a home run in that game back on September 10th as Derek Jeter picks on the fastball up in the strike zone and hammers it to left field. That was a game in which Pedro Martinez, by the way, struck out 19 Yankees. Most Yankees ever struck out by an opposing pitcher.
And you said that night on the telecast, and you asked Joe Torre about it before the game, that was as dominating an effort as you've seen by any pitcher, and that includes perfect games, and that includes no-hitters. That's the night Pedro Martinez had at Yankee Stadium.
It also includes Bob Gibson's 17 strikeouts in Game 1 of the 1968 season.
1 on, 1 out. Paul O'Neill took a strike from Martinez.
I said season, I meant World Series when he struck out 17.
Pedro Martinez dealing with O'Neill. Got what was the game-winning RBI in the 7th inning of Game 2 on that flare hit against Real Cormier.
That's a one deterrent. Joe Kerrigan, the pitching coach of the Red Sox, telling us that Pedro Martinez does not have a good move to first base. But what he'll do, he'll make the runners wait. That's the most effective deterrent to the stolen base. Upset his rhythm. There's Joe.
No balls, 1 strike, and O'Neill out in front, strike 2.
Yeah, there's only a handful of runners in Major League Baseball that can start from a standing start and still steal second base if that pitcher unloads the ball quickly. Most guys like to get a little momentum. We've seen Ricky Henderson throughout the postseason for the Mets get that walking lead and just go right into his crossover step. Pedro Martinez very adept at just holding that ball, freezing the runner, and then delivering to home plate.
No balls, 2 strikes. After a long delay, a check on Jeter at first. Jeter no steals in the postseason, 19 during the regular season. No pickoffs for Martinez. Base stealers caught 10 times with Pedro on the mound this year. The 0-2. Not close. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and O'Neill with Bernie Williams on deck. Start to think back through this series and the way Joe Torre managed. He had to use Mariano Rivera for 2 innings in Game 1 to slow down a red-hot Red Sox team. Then in Game 2, the Yankees really wanted, needed, and got that game. As opposed to being 1-1 in this series, facing Pedro Martinez today. They're up 2-0. And O'Neill flies 1 to center. Darren Lewis, the easy play, 2 out.
A writer asking Joe Torre about Pedro Martinez before the League Championship Series started. And Joe said the best way to face Pedro Martinez will be to be 2-0 when we face him. And that's what the Yankees are. 2 wins, no losses.
Bernie Williams now with 1 on, 2 out. Usually at the end of the top of the first inning, any television game you've watched in the last 20+ years, you see a commercial break. We are going to stay here after the Yankees make their final out in the top of the first, whenever that may be, and listen to the live reception for Roger Clemens as he stomps to the mound. He's in the clubhouse right now, we understand, not sitting in the dugout. He will make his entrance to the bottom of the first. 1 ball, no strikes on Williams. 1 on, 2 out. 2-0. We haven't really seen that blistering fastball from Pedro Martinez yet.
Well, in his 6-inning relief outing in the clinching Game 5 of the division series, he didn't really break out that good fastball unless he really felt he needed it. Most of his fastballs were in the high 80s, around 90 miles an hour, until he got to 2 strikes and wanted the punch out. Then he was able to jack it up to 95.
And a changeup is low, 3-0. We take you back to July 13th. Roger Clemens booed here at the All-Star game, and then his start here as a Yankee. First time back as a Yankee on the mound, July 31st. Written by the fans. He got a no decision in that start. 3 balls, no strikes on Bernie Williams. 3-1.
Looked like Bernie was going to offer at that fastball had it been an inside fastball. But it was about belt high on the outside part of the plate. You could see Varitek setting up inside, but the ball drifting outside. And Bernie elected to take it. It was a strike, but not one he was looking for.
Bernie Williams, runner goes. That's Jeter, and he'll have to retreat on strike 2. The cleanup hitter Williams.
He's thrown 2 changeups so far. The one thing about Pedro Martinez, he can get any of 3 pitches over. Changeup, breaking ball, and of course the fastball. This is something other than the fastball.
Runner will go. Williams strikes out. And a scoreless first inning for Pedro Martinez and the Boston Red Sox, down 2-0.
On the breaking ball, Williams goes down and too far.
So that ends the top half of the first inning. 1 hit by Jeter. He is left on. And the Yankees fail to score in the first inning against Martinez. Home plate umpire Rick Reed is out there talking to Roger Clemens. Roger Clemens will begin his warm-up tosses. Probably the best pitcher in the history of the Boston Red Sox franchise. Don't forget they had Cy Young, who pitched in a Red Sox uniform. Have another donut, Roger.
The winningest pitcher here at Fenway Park as a Red Sox pitcher. Matter of fact, far and away the winningest. Roger has won 96 games as a Red Sox in this ballpark. In second, Louis Tiant won 76 games.
Both pitchers who were in Red Sox uniforms and eventually ended up Yankees. We look at the Budweiser starting lineup for the Boston Red Sox. Roger Clemens will face Jose Offerman at second base. Then John Valentin batting second and third. Jason Varitek moves up to the number 3 spot. Then Nomar Garciaparra tried to beat the Yankees single-handedly in Game 2. Couldn't pull that off. Troy O'Leary's in left field. Mike Stanley is in there at first base. Daubach slips down to the number 7 spot. Darren Lewis is in center. And Trot Nixon is in right field batting 9th.
And by now, perhaps you are familiar with the Red Sox lineup. It's the same. I beg your pardon, the Yankee lineup. It is the same. Ricky Leday in left field. Bernie Williams in center field. Paul O'Neill in right. Scott Brocious at third base. Derek Jeter at short. Chuck Knobloch and Tino Martinez on the right side. And Joe Girardi. This is Girardi's 4th game that he has started in the 6th that the Yankees have played in postseason.
See the numbers on Roger Clemens this season. Highest ERA of his career at 4.60 in Game 3 of the division series. Went 7 strong innings, gave up only 3 hits, did not allow a run. And as you mentioned, Tim, his career here at Fenway Park, the most victories by a Red Sox pitcher with 96. He's not the same Roger Clemens that pitched here for the Boston Red Sox. He still has 2 fastballs, a 4-seamer that he'll work high in the zone, and a 2-seamer when he wants to get a ground ball. That slider has been a dangerous pitch for him this year. Not always getting it on the outside part of the plate, and he also has that split finger fastball that he will use more often against the left-handed hitters, the slider more often against right-handed hitters.
Jose Offerman will lead off against this 37-year-old right-hander from Texas. Offerman, who is 5 out of 10 in this LCS and overall .429 in the postseason. Ball 1. It ain't Larry, it's Roger. That's the chant here at Fenway, and Offerman gets into one and right. Back as O'Neill doesn't see it. It's off the base of the wall. Offerman will dig for third. He'll make it without a play and a leadoff triple.
Somewhere in the United States, Lou Pinella's watching and remembering 21 years ago when he made the play in right field. Paul O'Neill doesn't see the ball. It hits the base of the wall. He has no idea where it is. And by the time he recovers, Offerman has a triple.
Offerman did not take the time to go into his home run trot, as we've seen so many times throughout the regular season by major league players. He hit that ball and was busting it out of the batter's box, ends up at third base easily.
Guy who hit 11 triples during the regular season at third with nobody out. Valentin takes a ball. Well, the Red Sox had numerous opportunities in game 2. 1 out of 12 with runners in scoring position, but they stranded 13 runners in a 1-run loss. That's foul. 1 ball, 1 strike.
That's another factor here at Fenway Park. You saw the way that foul ball down the third baseline ricocheted back into shallow left field. Something that the shortstops for both ball clubs are very aware of. And on balls hit down the line that go into foul territory past the bag, the shortstop has to hustle out there in the event of that carom back toward the infield.
Strike 2 on Valentin. On deck is the new number 3 hitter, a guy who hit third down the stretch for Jimmy Williams, Jason Varitek. Runner at third with nobody out. Two balls, 2 strikes.
It's odd to see an outfielder with the sunglasses on and yet standing in the shade. Paul O'Neill is actually, he's not in the sun right now, but has to protect himself when he goes back for a ball.
That's well hit into left field. At the Green Monster, over the Green Monster, and a 2-0 Red Sox first inning lead.
From Roger Clemens, just didn't get it up high enough. Left it right there in John Valentin's wheelhouse. He lifted it high in the air to left field over the monster.
That misses the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike on Varitek over the 37-foot wall in left center field. As the former teammates hook up, it's Valentin who wins this battle with Clemens. And now the 1-1 pitch to Varitek. Now block with a snow cone, but the out nonetheless. 1 away, and that's the first out here in the bottom of the first inning. And that brings in Garciaparra. to Garciaparra. Pedro Martinez with a 2-run first inning lead.
Clemens trying to keep the ball away from Nomar. Jimmy Williams, the manager of the Sox, has nicknamed Garciaparra the Viper because he is so quick on that inside pitch. Lightning fast.
Up the middle. Flagged down by Knobloch. Wide throw and safe. Garciaparra will hold at first as Girardi backing up. Keeps him at first instead of Nomar scampering down to second.
26 errors on the year, and a throwing problem that has been in remission resurfaces.
You can even see Knobloch going down sidearm to try to make this flip across to the first baseman. Tino Martinez pulls him way wide of the bag. Heads up play by Joe Girardi to be right there to back up that errant throw and hold Garciaparra at first base.
So an error on Knobloch and a check on Garciaparra. Second error in the postseason for Knobloch. You mentioned the 26 errors, most by a Yankee second baseman since 29 errors were committed by Snuffy Sternweiss in 1945. As O'Leary pops it up. Right center field, and Bernie Williams wants it, fights it, and has it. 2 away.
We talked about Knobloch's throwing problems during the regular season. 26 errors, 15 of those were throwing errors. Some of them on the most routine of plays as he spiked that ball halfway to the target right there. Another errant throw here. Attempting to tag him out, throw him out, double play, and didn't get an out on the play.
We led the American League with those 26 errors. He commits one here in the first inning, and it's now Mike Stanley. Stanley, really, who made his name with the Yankees, goes in the opposite direction as he works now for the Red Sox. 1 on, 2 out. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Chuck Knobloch has been seeing a sports psychologist to try to help him with that problem. The first half of the year, he just ignored it. He approached it like, what problem? I don't have a problem. And then finally, about midway through the season, he admitted it. And at least from a thinking standpoint, from a mental standpoint, he was able to get it out. But he still has that problem, as you just saw.
1 ball, 1 strike on Stanley. Of attention paid to Garciaparra, who stole 14 during the regular season, 1 so far this postseason. 1 ball, 1 strike on Stanley. Missing inside, 2-1. Clemens behind on the count, and now even further, 3 balls and a strike. In the 30 starts this year for Clemens, he allowed first inning runs 20 times. Joe Torre talking to us before the game about trying to channel all of those emotions that Clemens brings with him to the ballpark day after day, and if it's not channeled in the right direction, he can be all over the place. He's allowed a triple, a home run, an error keeps the inning alive, and now the 3-1. Full count, and Garciaparra will take off. Garciaparra goes on ball 4. And along those lines, what we just talked about with Joe Torre, trying to channel his emotions and his energies, we talked to Roger Clemens about trying maybe too hard.
I've been known to try too hard at times. I mean, you know, you can fault me for that. And yeah, I want to do as well as I can, again, not only for my teammates but for the fans and you know, the whole 9 yards. So you know, if that's my fault, then it is. Sometimes I get too raced up. You had to do that a little bit in Toronto because you had to really get your emotions into it a little bit. You don't have to do that too much in New York. You know, your blood's flowing pretty good every time you get out there.
I would imagine the capillaries are busted now with the blood flowing through here at Fenway Park with 2 on 2 out, and he misses with a ball to Daubach, who is only 1 out of 10 in this LCS. 2 runs already home. Pedro Martinez and the Red Sox looking for more. 1-1.
22 pitches already here in the first inning for Roger Clemens.
That caught the inside corner. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
You can understand a lot of Roger Clemens' problems in trying to throw the ball too hard, much like a hitter tries to hit a ball too hard. The front side flies out of there for a hitter, and instead of speeding the bat up, you slow it down. The same thing for a pitcher. You open that front side, and instead of speeding up the arm, it actually slows down. You don't have the pop on the fastball.
Daubach stays up there.
Hitting and throwing much the same in that regard.
Classic power pitcher's form out there on the mound. Generates a lot of his power from the waist down, those big thick legs.
2 power pitchers in today's game. Martinez listed at 5'11", 170. Clemens more with a body type of a typical power pitcher, 6'4", 230. 2 on, 2 out, and a 2-2 count on Daubach.
Clemens is missing in the wrong area. If you're wild low, it's not nearly as bad as being wild high, and he's been wild high. That pitch that Valentin hit out of the ballpark probably was not a strike, about a letter high.
Got him over the outside corner, and the first inning is over in this pitcher's duel. We come in talking about Clemens and Martinez. It's John Valentin who connects. Back to work, Pedro Martinez. Second inning, 2-0 Boston. A New England lake in autumn, and the temperature could be much worse. Very pleasant afternoon for these fans who pack into Fenway Park, and Tino Martinez first up. Chili Davis, the DH, and Ricky Leday to follow. Pedro Martinez, who gave up a 1-out hit to Jeter in the first inning, got around it. The Red Sox lead 2-0. Hopping fastball misses up for ball 1. Tino Martinez with that solo home run in game 2, way out in front of a changeup. 1 ball, 1 strike. I wonder what the humidity is today. Anybody know the humidity? Oh, it's 65%. Temperature 66 degrees. The wind is blowing toward the monster. 1 ball, 1 strike, and who says you can't throw back-to-back changeup? Strike 2.
He might throw another one. Such great arm action on this changeup. Everything that a hitter sees tells him to swing at a fastball, and it just seems like that pitch will never get to the plate.
Shading their eyes from the sun. Another changeup. That's 3 changeups in a row, so you were right. The count 2 balls, 2 strikes on Martinez.
You can see 3 changeups in a row at 3 different speeds. He says depending on the bat speed of the hitter determines how he's going to throw his changeup and at what speed.
He's actually changed the grip on that changeup as he's matured. And yet another 4 in a row. Tino Martinez is gone. Back-to-back strikeouts. And here's Pedro Martinez showing us the grip and talking about the changeup.
The full wrap hand, which was the one I first learned, is like this. Was the first one I learned. But I don't throw that one anymore. I throw a circle changeup. And then from there, I went all the way up to crossing because I feel more comfortable and I feel like I can control it a little bit better.
Got it?
Doesn't make it any easier to hit knowing how he throws it.
How many pitchers, major league pitchers, are at home trying to copy that down? And how many do you think can do it? 3 different grips on the changeup, and he feels most comfortable with the last one he showed us. Breaking ball there is down and into Chili Davis, ball 1. We already mentioned it, but Chili Davis was the one who got the only hit for the Yankees. That tremendous start on September 10th, the Friday night at Yankee Stadium, when Pedro shut down the Yankee offense and set up what turned into a 3-game sweep.
This is the nasty overhand curveball, and a ball dives down and into a left-handed hitter.
One ball, 1 strike, 1 out, nobody on. What kind of a night was it for Pedro Martinez? Joe Torre told us when he was on the bench watching that September 10th game. He saw his hitters go up, turn around, come back. Most important thing, he said nobody complained.
Not about the umpire. Not about anything.
He was in charge. He's ahead of the count here to Chili Davis. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 2-2.
Joe, you talked about that last changeup that Pedro showed us. The ring finger and the middle finger on the right hand. That's the one where he had him over the seams. What he does is he uses those seams for leverage, and you can understand why that changeup, or that particular changeup, is the one that he throws when he needs a strike.
One will he give Chili Davis on a 2-2 count. Goodbye. 3rd strikeout in a row for Pedro Martinez. 2 up, 2 down in the 2nd.
Change-ups to Martinez, curveballs to Chili Davis. Talk about getting a read on a pitcher. You just can't do it.
That curveball breaks so sharply and so late. Seems like it's rolling up to the plate like it's going to be a hanging breaking ball, and as it gets just out in front of home plate, it starts that downward movement. Vicious breaking ball.
It's a good thing the plate's not 58 feet away for Pedro Martinez. He uses all 60 feet 6 inches. A strike to Ricky Leday. 2 out with the bases empty, and 5. Make it 4 in a row. Tries to make it 5 consecutive. It is retired as he misses inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Change up 1 and 2. Could it be 4 consecutive strikeouts?
That was probably the worst pitch he's thrown so far. That was a breaking ball. It didn't go down. It just kind of laid on the outside part of the plate to Ricky Leday. Fortunately for Martinez, it was outside.
4 strikeouts in a row. With big brother Ramon clapping over in the Red Sox dugout, Pedro Martinez strikes out the side. Martinez, Davis, Leday. 2-0 Boston in an 1.5. Roger Clemens back to the hill. He gave up 2 runs in the 1st inning. A 2-run home run hit by John Valentin. Let's go down to Steve Lyons. Steve.
Well, Joe, I talked to Brett Saberhagen, the Game 4 starter for the Red Sox, and he says he doesn't think that Pedro has his great fastball today. That's why you're going to see him spot the fastball, throw a lot more breaking balls and a lot more changeups today.
All right, Stephen, I would say the pitches in the first 2 innings corroborate that story.
Absolutely.
And that's not to say that Pedro will not find his good fastball as this game goes on and he starts to loosen up. He said in that 6 innings relief appearance against the Cleveland Indians, his fastball came about as his back loosened up.
In about the 3rd inning of work, which was the 6th inning, as he entered the game in inning number 4.
Darren Lewis is quickly in the hole 0-2 with Trot Nixon. And Offerman, who started it well for the Red Sox with a leadoff triple in the 1st inning to follow. With Darren Lewis at the plate, if you are fortunate enough to get seats behind the first base dugout, pay attention, because Darren Lewis has a tough time getting around on pitches, and if you're in the dugout or above the dugout, pay attention when number 20 is at the plate for the Red Sox. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Now, Lewis has always been an opposite field hitter, even going back to his days with the San Francisco Giants, and Paul O'Neill, the right fielder, is drawn in from his right field position, a little shallower, trying to take away some of those little humpback floaters out into shallow right field.
2-2.
That's the reason that the Yankee pitchers do not throw Darren Lewis any off-speed pitches, because you really go against the defense. That's the area that Bob was talking about, at shallow right center.
From 0-2 to 3-2 on the leadoff hitter, Darren Lewis. El Duque and Jorge Posada hooked up in game 1 for the Yankees, sit next to each other. Watch Clemens, who peers over that glove. And Lewis grounds to Jeter. 1-1. Leadoff man gone for the Red Sox here in the 2nd. And Trot Nixon, the number 9 hitter, will walk to the plate.
Batting 9, number 7.
Only 4 out of 21 in this postseason. 1 for 7 in this ALCS. Started out the year 2 for 33, but Jimmy Williams stuck with him. Gave him more opportunities. He made the most of them and hit 15 home runs. His first full season in the big leagues. The opposite way in trouble if it's fair. It is, and all the way down into the corner. Nixon will dig for second and make it easily with a 1-out double.
Sometimes a hitter will go up and he won't necessarily look for a particular pitch, but look in a location. And Trot Nixon can't hit a ball down the left field line with that much authority unless he's looking away on the first pitch. You can see right there, that action right there. See where his head is? Head right down on the ball. You can't hit a ball like that down the left field line unless you're looking away.
So a runner in scoring position for the Red Sox with Offerman. He takes strike 1.
Sometimes a batter will hit the ball to the opposite field, but actually be looking to his pull field, anticipating that he's going to get out in front and pull the pitch, and then because of the break or the speed of the pitch, he ends up hitting the ball to the opposite field and looking to his pull field. It's a head fake. Look to left, hit to right. Look to right, hit to left.
That's one of those razzes from the bench a guy will tell a hitter. Hit it where you're looking.
Offerman has looked at 2, and he's in the hole 0-2 with a runner at second. Nixon 1 out. The opposite way and a base hit. Nixon will have to hold at third. It's first and third, 1 out. Offerman now 2 for 2 in this game, and 7 out of 12 in this ALCS. Who said they overpaid for Jose Offerman?
This is more a situation with 2 strikes, just fighting the ball off, a high fastball. Offerman pulls his hands in close to his body, just punches that ball through the hole in the left side.
And another RBI chance for John Valentin.
Valentin homered his first at bat in Game 4 of the division series. He also homered in his first at bat, went on to hit another home run amongst his 4 hits and 7 RBIs in that ball game.
That was last Saturday. Seems like the Red Sox like Saturday games when they're down 2-0.
That started their run against the Indians. They'd like to start one against the Yankees as Valentin takes a ball. We take you back to the first inning after a triple by Offerman. Then into the netting above the green monster in left center. Red Sox still lead 2-0, and that squirts away from Girardi. Either runner can advance, and it's 2-0 on Valentin.
As you can see, the sun, for the most part, has done its damage. Perhaps on that ball hit by Offerman the first time up. Unless the ball is hit to deep right center field, I don't think the outfielders will be affected. And the hitters, for the most part, are seeing the balls pretty well right now, as Valentin will attest.
So will Clemens. The 2-0 pitch came up and clipped him after he tapped it foul. 2-1. Joe Torre talking to us about this very situation with a runner at third, less than 2 out. Clemens throughout his career has had that uncanny ability to stop the opposition from scoring, at least in a situation like this. You might get the 2 out hit against him. He bears down with the runner at third and less than 2 away. This crowd continues to stay on Roger Clemens, who won only 1 postseason game in 9 starts while with the Red Sox. To the shortstop. Jeter's only played at first. It's 3-0 Boston. And to score is Nixon. And Valentin has driven home all 3.
That term productive out is in vogue in baseball, and that was a very productive out. Not only plating a runner, but moving a runner into scoring position.
With those middle infielders playing back for the double play, just a little chopper anywhere in the middle of the field is going to get a run home.
That double box, you can see the runner at third, Nixon, in the lower right. It was just hit so slowly, no chance for a double play. The easy RBI ground out. As Tim mentioned, now it's Offerman at second with 2 away. And Veritek another chance. Takes a ball. Clemens allowed 2 runs in the first, got around an error. Couldn't get around a double and a single here in the second. 2-0 on Veritek. Torre was not worried one bit about Roger Clemens coming into this game, despite that regular season ERA of 4.6. By his standards, Clemens' standards, a rather pedestrian 14-10.
When Clemens faced the Red Sox, you see Garciaparra on deck. He faced them on July 31st. Veritek went 2 for 2, a single and a double.
3 balls, no strikes. 3-1.
Clemens is a lot more predictable than Pedro Martinez at this stage of his career. When he falls behind in the count, he's going to throw fastballs 80% of the time.
From 3-0 to 3-2, 95 miles per hour from Clemens. We have yet to see Martinez hit anywhere close to that on the radar gun.
Fastball on the 3-1 count, particularly with Garciaparra on deck.
Will he get on 3-2 what he got on 3-1? Usually the way it works, and a grounder foul outside first. Red Sox doing already in this game 3 what they couldn't accomplish in game 2. Struggling with runners in scoring position, and Jimmy Williams' crew left 13 on. They did leave 2 on in the first. It scored 2 on the home run and now have a run on 2 hits here in the second. Dangerous pitch. Still 3-2 on Varitek.
Dangerous because of the repetition. 4 straight fastballs. Varitek has had a good look at all of them, and he is zeroing in on that 4th fastball and just misses it.
About time to change it up if you're Clemens?
I think so.
If Clemens had more confidence in one of his off-speed pitches, you would probably see it right here. But once again, Nomar Garciaparra waiting in the on-deck circle.
Another high fastball, still 3-2.
5 in a row.
Number 50 coming, another 3-2 delivery from Clemens.
You can almost feel the doubt between the pitches. When he's not successful, things slow down dramatically for Roger Clemens.
3-2. Now it's up to Garciaparra. Second walk issued by Clemens, and he's up to 50 pitches, and here comes Mel Stottlemyre, his pitching coach. One thing Joe Torre and Mel Stottlemyre will tell you is that Roger Clemens, the 5-time Cy Young Award winner, hasn't acted like a 5-time Cy Young Award winner in that, taking away what he does on the mound. His attitude has been very good with the Yankees from the start. Whatever you need. You don't want me to pitch game 1 of the division series, just tell me when you want me to pitch. You want me to come out of a game, you don't like the way I'm throwing, I'll come out, or let me stay in and try to work on some things. But he has been a pleasure for Stottlemyre and Torre to work with this season, although it has been a down year on the mound for Rocket. Clemens didn't shy away from this game 3 start against Pedro Martinez, and neither did Joe Torre.
Well, Clemens cannot afford to fall behind Nomar Garciaparra the way he did to Jason Varitek, because he will not be able to stand out there and throw fastballs by Garciaparra.
That's not close. Ball 1 saved by Girardi. Offerman the runner at second, and over at first is Varitek. They might get action started already in their bullpen.
Might be Hideki Arabu. He would be the first guy up early in the ball game.
One ball, 1 strike. There's Arabu. Has not appeared this entire postseason, nor has he in any of his time with the Yankees. Left off the roster before. He's been on for both rounds in 1999, but unused. A 1-1 into the left field corner. That ball is down. Here comes Offerman to score. Over to third is Varitek. They'll hold him there. RBI double, 4-0 Boston. Nomar Garciaparra continues to do it for the Red Sox. We mentioned he tried to throw Boston on his back in game 2 and nearly accomplished beating the Yankees by himself. We go back to game 1 and the defensive plays that he made, the 2 leaping catches to rob the Yankees of at least 3 runs. And then in game 2 against David Cone, a slider that didn't slide but instead flew into the seats and left. A 2-run shot which gave the Red Sox a 2-1 lead. A lead that they would lose in the 7th inning.
And while we were watching the Garciaparra highlights, Joe Girardi went out to talk to Roger Clemens and stall for some time. Irabu is taking forever to get loose down in that Yankees bullpen.
Now O'Leary, 2nd and 3rd, 2 out, and a strike from Clemens, who may not last long in this return to Fenway.
The reason that Irabu is taking so long, keep in mind he's a starting pitcher, and starting pitchers move to the bullpen. Postseason play take longer than relievers to loosen up.
And he has always moved at his own pace. 1 ball, 1 strike on O'Leary.
We're watching him beginning to throw his warm-up pitches twice. Bullpen coach Tony Cloninger gave him the signal to hurry up. Let's go, let's go.
Clemens now facing O'Leary. 2nd and 3rd, 2 out. A 4-0 Boston lead. O'Leary just scooted up in the batter's box just as that pitch was being brought to the plate. I think it was happy feet. I think he was trying to get up in the box, and the count now 1-2.
Moved up a half a step closer to the plate. Now, those are the kind of things in the past that Roger Clemens would notice and send a message on the next pitch. Be dancing around that batter's box when I'm on the mound.
The 1-2. O'Leary back toward us.
Joe Torre did not tell us this before the game, but you've got to think that at all possible, if he takes Roger Clemens out of the game, he does not want to take him out during an inning. Not in this ballpark. Not under these circumstances.
O'Leary's caught looking, and the inning is over. The Red Sox get 2 in the 1st. The Red Sox get 2 in the 2nd against their former ace Roger Clemens. Lead by 4 after 2. Back after this from your local Fox station. Pedro Martinez goes back to the hill. He's retired 5 in a row. The 27-year-old Dominican right-hander, who takes on the 37-year-old Texan here this afternoon, has a 4-0 lead. Tail of the tape for this heavyweight match of sorts. Clemens actually turned 37 earlier this season. You see the difference in the size, both in height and weight, build, however you want to look at it. It's amazing that Pedro Martinez can generate the kind of velocity he can with that size body.
It's all about arm speed. Jimmy Williams told us before the ball game today he's able to generate tremendous arm speed, which makes that changeup all the more effective.
Pop-up will get out of play off to the right. Off the bat of Brocious, strike 1.
One other thing about Martinez, even though he's only 5'10", it says in the media guide 5'11", I think he's more like 5'9", and I think he weighs closer to 165 than 170. But he has unusually long fingers, and that in a lot of ways is an equalizer. Seeing that talking head we had the last inning, how long those fingers are. Sandy Koufax, a guy who had long fingers, could wrap the curveball. Doc Gooden, a young Doc Gooden, the long fingers to wrap the curveball. Well, Martinez not only wraps the curve, but can hold that changeup in a very deceptive way for the hitter.
One ball, 1 strike. And now 2-1. Three balls and a strike.
Another thing that Martinez will do, if his catcher Veritek calls for a fastball, they have an agreement that he can change on his own too.
And a pop-up left side should be handled. O'Leary calls up Garciaparra, dances underneath it, and that's 6 in a row retired. Talk about changing a grip mid-motion. Here's Pedro Martinez describing what he can do.
I went across him because from there to here it's easy to go. So I don't need to pretty much change the ball in my glove. Right in the middle of my delivery, that's just, at the time I'm going up, I could just switch and I'm right there. And
so you change on your own? Okay.
On my own.
There's a strike into Joe Girardi. Girardi 2 out of 3 at the plate in game 2. 1 ball, 1 strike.
From the changeup to the fastball. You can notice how long those fingers are. Most pitchers have to put it in the glove to adjust it, but he can leave it in his bare hand and adjust it with those long fingers.
It's the outside corner, strike 2.
Wow. Airborne. That's Pedro's right hand.
Girardi is gone, and that's 5 strikeouts for Martinez. 2 up, 2 down here in the Yankee 3rd inning.
The second baseman.
So came on a breaking ball off the outside corner to Joe Girardi. That may seem like a simple thing. Pedro was talking about the ability to change that grip from fastball to change up back and forth as he deems necessary. But some pitchers, as you mentioned, Tim, they have to fan their glove open to get that circle change up grip. It's something that's very easy for a hitter to detect, or the coaches from the benches to detect, but you can't do that against Pedro.
And misses for ball 1 and Knobloch. I think it's very important to go back to what Steve Lyons told us, is Martinez is obviously having fun out there on the mound, which he does every time he takes the ball. Pedro Martinez is working here in the first 3 innings without that overpowering fastball as he misses. 2 balls, no strikes on Knobloch. How proud little brother was of the way 31-year-old Ramon Martinez, his big brother, pitched in game 2. Tried to get through 7, through 120 pitches at number 120. It was a game-tying hit by the man at the plate, Chuck Knobloch. 2 balls and a strike now on the Yankees second baseman. Jeter next.
When a guy throws a 2-1 changeup to the leadoff hitter when he's up by 4 runs, that gives you an idea he's going to throw that changeup anytime he wants to. He is so unpredictable.
Jammed it with an 88-mile-per-hour fastball on 3-1.
I think that's a byproduct of all the changeups that he's thrown in the early going of this game, right? Suddenly that 88-mile-an-hour heater looks like about a 98-mile-an-hour fastball because you're so used to seeing the breaking ball and the changeup.
This crowd will take either out number 3 or better yet strikeout number 6. Instead, it's walk number 1. A 2-out walk at that to keep this inning alive for one of the best hitters in the game, Derek Jeter. More originality. We talked about it at Yankee Stadium, and now we'll talk about it here at Fenway.
Number 2, the shortstop.
Here's Derek Jeter, who singled his first time. He's up to 474. The postseason, 9 out of 19. Nothing Boston, 3rd inning, game 3. Yankees up 2 games to none. Strike 1 on Jeter.
Now, Jeter's the one guy in the Yankees lineup that figures to be less susceptible to Pedro Martinez off-speed pitches. He stays inside the ball so well, stays back so well, and he's willing to hit the ball the opposite field. Those kind of hitters don't get fooled as often on the straight changeup.
Here's a good fastball, 92. But it misses. 1 ball, 1 strike. Pedro Martinez, who earlier this year broke Roger Clemens' single-season Red Sox strikeout record, which was 292. Pedro Martinez in the end struck out 313. Slow roller is foul, and now Jeter's in the hole, 1-2.
Changeup, fastball, changeup. The hitter feels like he's a pendulum at times. He goes forward with the changeup. Watch Jeter commit himself forward. When you do that, you take your hands with you. You have no power left. You only swing with your arms, not your body.
Jeter set up at a ball and 2 strikes. The Yankees best at the plate against the Red Sox best on the mound. Getting over. And a discussion between Jeter and Rick Reed, the home plate umpire. That's strikeout number 6. Martinez caught him looking. 2.5 innings completed, game 3. So far it's Pedro on top of Clemens. Red Sox on top of the Yankees 4-zip. Beautiful afternoon here in New England. Mike Stanley, Brian Daubach, and Darren Lewis will step in for the Red Sox here in the 3rd inning. Taking on Roger Clemens with a 4-0 lead. At times Roger Clemens has that football mentality. I'm sure at least part of him pictures himself as a Texas Longhorn, like he's playing for Mac Brown. And he's pitching with a mouth guard. In today's game, as Stanley bounces one off the wall, played well by Leday, and it's just a loud, long single for Mike Stanley. So mouth guard and all, Roger Clemens does not have very good stuff here this afternoon at Fenway.
Inside part of the plate. All the football mentality. That ball was hit hard.
And Arabu gets loose again. Would you have any concerns if you're Joe Torre with Ricky Leday out in left field?
Joe Torre telling Tino Martinez to play behind Mike Stanley. Ricky Leday has a very difficult time playing left field at Yankee Stadium, and we were discussing it before the game. One would surmise that it would be difficult here with the Green Monster.
Daubach shoots it foul.
Certainly not the conventional left field. The guy who really played that wall better than anybody who's ever played in this ballpark, Carl Yastrzemski. Nobody could play it better. But it does take some getting used to.
Valentin already shot one over that 37-foot high wall and left. First they had Martinez, and you talked about it, go behind the runner. Stanley then, just before that first pitch, he came running in and is holding against Stanley, and we might get a pitching change, and this crowd will go crazy.
Yeah, and you know Joe Torre does not want to do this. Clemens is probably gone. This has got to be tough. I mean, obviously you're thinking of the team and not Roger Clemens, but this has got to be tough for Torre.
That's it. Well, what was billed as a heavyweight fight, a matchup between Roger Clemens and Pedro Martinez, has been lopsided. It's over. They threw in the towel. The fight is over, head to head. Now the teams battle the rest of the way. Martinez remains, and now Hideki Arabu is on the mound for the Yankees.
Yeah, there's no bullpen in boxing.
No.
Bring in the left-handed jabber.
Well, it's the right-handed jabber, Hideki Arabu, who takes over here in the 3rd inning for Clemens. When his return to Fenway, leaves after throwing 61 pitches. Clemens in 2+ innings has allowed 4 runs on 6 hits. 1 home run to Valentin in the 1st inning, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. Still responsible for Stanley over at first, and Daubach deals with Arabu. offensive ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. You have to wonder if, outside of ineffectiveness, injury is more at the root of Roger Clemens exiting here in the 3rd inning than anything else.
I think that's a good point, Joe, and a possibility. We're not saying that that is true, but I think it's a possibility. Roger Clemens, back in late April, had a sore groin. Bob, you were talking about the big frame and the big legs and everything before. He is often subject to leg pulls, hamstring pulls, and groin pulls. There are some of the Yankees that think that groin never healed. And just his body language going into the dugout, and obviously not making excuses for him, but body language, it looked like he was favoring the left side. We don't know that for sure, but it's a possibility.
At any rate, he's gone, and Arabu has run the count to 3-1 on Daubach. With a runner at first and nobody out. And now a full count. Gene Monahan, who followed Clemens back into the clubhouse after he exited, is back in the dugout watching. As Arabu, who works for the first time since October 3rd, pitches here on October 16th. Expect him not to be very sharp here at the start. The 3-2 is hit high and deep into right. Well hit into the corner. This ball is gone. A home run, Daubach. And it's 6-0 Boston. So the first batter faced for Arabu, Daubach, clubs his 2nd home run of the postseason. And it's 6-0 Red Sox as Darren Lewis takes a strike.
And Daubach, a good fastball hitter, and Arabu put that right in his happy zone, that down and in area to a left-handed hitter. In that short porch directly down the line here at Fenway Park. Daubach took full advantage of it.
Police and the reserves watching that ball sail out of here. The 1-1 pitch off the plate to Jeter. It's a terrible hop. Good play. 1 out. And Lewis is 0 for 2. And now 0 for 8 in this ALCS. That had to feel good for Daubach, who from the 1st of September on had been 14 of 79, including the postseason before that home run. And here's Trot Nixon, the number 9 hitter, who doubled and scored last inning. That's hard hit and fair past first. Played by O'Neill, and Nixon will turn it into a double. And he's there with only 1 out. Bob, I think you talked about it. The Red Sox and their fans wondering if a return trip to Fenway Park down 0-2 would be in the ALCS like it was in the division series when the hitters came alive and the Cleveland Indians were eventually gone.
Hey, you just get the feeling that this Red Sox offense feels much more comfortable hitting here in Fenway Park. The left-handed hitters will turn on balls inside. They'll shoot balls the opposite field off of that green monster. They just seem to have a better game plan when they go to the plate in this ballpark.
Look at Trot Nixon and Jose Offerman. Nixon has doubled the left. He's doubled the right. Offerman has tripled the right. He's singled the left.
And here is Offerman with a runner at second and only 1 out. The breaking ball's in for a strike. So much will be said after this game. And it really doesn't matter what the score is. Talking about the hype, both print media hype, broadcast media hype, for the matchup between Clemens and Martinez, as Offerman grounds it. Nice play by Martinez. Feeds Arabu, who got to the bag in time. 2 gone. Offerman retired for the first time this afternoon, and over at third is Nixon with 2 out.
Fine play by Tino Martinez. Watch how he has to turn to his right. It's an easier play when you catch the ball and turn to your left. But Tino has to turn to his right. And a nice throw to Arabu, who finds ball, then bag.
And then immediately has to spin around to find the base runner to make sure Dahlbach wasn't trying to take advantage and sneak around third base and get in the back door.
Ball, bag, base runner.
And now Valentin with a runner at third, 2 out. John has driven in 3 runs this afternoon with a 2-run home run in the first and RBI ground out in the second. Strike is in from Arabu.
That's the one thing that you'll see when Arabu is pitching successfully. Of course, a rough outing so far this afternoon, but he'll float that curveball over for strike 1 and then go to his harder stuff. Very good control on that slop drop.
Valentin hits it well into deep left center field. Back is Williams and nearly up against the wall there to pull it in. Another shot off the bat of Valentin, and Williams there to run it down. 2 more runs in the third inning. 2 in each frame. And after 3 innings here in game 3, Red Sox down 2 games to none, leading this one 6-0. 4th inning now, and Pedro Martinez has a 6-run bulge with which to work, and a strike over the outside corner.
I hope that blimp's based in Australia instead of having to take a trip over in a blimp.
No thanks.
No. Long trip.
It's tough to check a blimp. You be checking any bags? There's a strike, 0-2. Yes. The bag's been with you at all times. No one else. Yes, I packed this blimp myself. Nobody's giving you any gifts. No, it's a blimp. 0-2 the count on O'Neill, with Williams and Martinez to follow. Strikeout number 7. Back to July 13th, and Pedro Martinez with that sensational All-Star game start. Struck out Barry Larkin. Struck out Larry Walker. Struck out Sammy Sosa to end the first inning. He got Mark McGwire. And then Jeff Bagwell at the front end of a strike him out, throw him out double play. So 5 strikeouts in the 6 outs he recorded. That was the good news. Then he made 1 start, was terrible against Florida after the All-Star game, and went on the 15-day disabled list. For a guy, Pedro Martinez, who had 15 wins at the break, all dreams of a 30-win season were finished when he went on the DL. And Bernie Williams and the Yankees are wondering how big this plate's going to get. They keep looking back at Rick Reed like, come on. That thing's growing here in the 4th inning. What does that tell you about what they think of Martinez, with Williams trying to bunt his way on? Strike 2.
Pinocchio plate.
Looking for strikeout number 8. Instead of 2-hopper to first. Easy for Stanley. A race to the bag. 2 gone. Tino Martinez will stand in. He struck out his first time, and let's figure out how Martinez did it.
Well, we talked about how hitters are sometimes put in that pendulum. Think of how the pendulum goes forwards and backwards. The fastball and now the changeup. Watch Martinez coming forward. Now coming forward to take. And finishing him off as he goes forward on the changeup. 4 straight changeups to Martinez's last at bat.
And now with 2 out, nobody on, Tino gets another crack at Martinez. Takes a ball.
A pitcher will use a change of speeds to get that pendulum effect on a hitter, much like they use location to use the rocking chair. Inside, outside, inside, outside. Anything to disrupt that hitter's rhythm and timing at the plate.
1-1 on Tino Martinez. Two out, nobody on, nothing doing for the Yankees here in the 4th inning. World champions are trailing by 6. That's foul. Dan Duquette is the general manager here for the Boston Red Sox. Came under heavy fire after taking over in January of '94 when he let Roger Clemens walk away after the '96 season. He made a decision, and the decision eventually was to put Pedro Martinez in front in this Red Sox rotation as Tino Martinez gets a base hit to left. Really, Duquette has made a couple of big decisions and have drawn heavy fire. He made the decision to let Roger Clemens walk away. Thought he might be finished. Clemens goes to Toronto, has back-to-back Cy Young Award seasons. This year, more of, I'm sure, what Dan Duquette had in mind after '96. With the performance by Clemens where he ended up 14-10 with an ERA over 4.5 after a lackluster year in '96. He also let Mo Vaughn walk away. The decision has been made to build this team offensively around Garciaparra. Two decisions that are working out well as the Red Sox are in the postseason. For the first time in back-to-back years since 1915-1916. Dan Duquette, yeah, I'd wave too if I was from Dalton, Mass. And I was putting this Red Sox team together and watching Pedro Martinez, a young right-hander who I traded for, pitch the way he's pitching this afternoon. 1 on, 2 out, and Chili Davis hops out of there. Dan Duquette, who, by the way, acquired Pedro Martinez twice in his career. While with Montreal, he got him from the Dodgers for Delino DeShields. The 1994 season, was there through '97 when he won the Cy Young. And after Duquette came here to the Red Sox, he ended up trading prospects to get Martinez and stick him at the top of this Red Sox rotation. Strike 2 on Chili Davis.
Once again, the dilemma for the hitter. Do you stay back for the changeup or go forward for the fastball?
Changeup missed outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
The amazing thing about Martinez changeup is very rarely will he make a mistake in the strike zone with it. Trying to hit the outside corner, he missed in his favor further away. The hitter can't take advantage of that. If you float that changeup up there in the middle of the plate in a 2-strike count, perhaps Chili Davis gets a beat on it, gets a good swing at that pitch.
To first and foul. Go back to the time Pedro Martinez was in a Dodger uniform. Signed by Los Angeles June 18th, 1988. Came to the big leagues with the Dodgers and was primarily a relief pitcher. Everybody said when he was there, that body will not hold up over the long haul as a starter. Well, it has. He is now the game's best.
But the only change, the Jerry curls are gone.
Tighter trim job as he pitches for the Red Sox. Good fastball still there. It is to Chili Davis. 92 miles per hour blown right by him. And that's 8 strikeouts for Pedro Martinez. Their ace is doing it. The Yankees right-hander Clemens is gone, and it's all Boston so far, up 6-0. Ramon Martinez in the jacket congratulating brother Pedro as he just pitched another scoreless inning. We're into the bottom of the 4th inning, and now a new catcher in the game for the Yankees, working with Arabu. As the Red Sox catcher Veritek is out in front, strike 1. Jorge Posada is now behind the plate. So that'll do it for Girardi, who will leave this game 0 for 1. One ball, 1 1 strike on Varitek, who's grounded out and walked.
There was that curveball for a strike on the first pitch. You'll see that a lot with Arabu. He'll do it about 50% of the time. Another breaking ball. It's not a hard pitch to hit, but it does have he does have good control, kind of from the letters to right around the knees.
And a pop-up left side. Looks like it'll stay in play for Brocious. Leadoff man is gone. So Varitek not in on the fun yet. He's hitless. Garciaparra is not. An RBI double his last time up, and here he is.
Number 5, the shortstop, Omar Garciaparra.
That's one of the satisfying things about being a catcher, however. If you're catching a shutout and you're catching Pedro Martinez, you don't have to hit to enjoy it.
The ball is low to Garciaparra.
That big slow curveball on pitch 1 once again, this time just outside off the strike zone. You surprised to see the Red Sox hitters go up there and look for that pitch.
Sure, I'm surprised more American League hitters didn't do that. He fell into a pattern of that late in the season.
Fastball up and in, 2-0. Garciaparra, another base hit, 2 out of 3. On base for the 3rd time. He's on with 1 out here in the 4th inning. Tomorrow on the Fox NFL Sunday pregame show, Terry Bradshaw heads to Chicago, where the upstart Bears are making some noise in the NFC Central, coming off that big win over the Vikings. Are the Bears back? Find out in the pregame show as the guys bring you the latest from around the NFL right up to kickoff. Coverage begins noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on Fox, and then we'll bring you Game 4 of this ALCS tomorrow night. One on, 1 out, and O'Leary shoots one up the middle into right center. Garciaparra will turn and head to 3rd. And it's 1st and 3rd, only 1 out here in the 4th inning.
O'Leary just shoots this ball right by Chuck Knobloch. Like a lot of left-handed hitters, a good low ball hitter. Gets it by Knobloch and very nearly into the gap. Only the speed of Bernie Williams getting over there to cut it off prevented O'Leary from going for extra bases.
So the Red Sox coming alive here in Game 3. They've scored 2 in each of the first 3 innings. Have 2 on here with 1 out in the 4th, and Mike Stanley at the plate. He's walked and singled. Double play ball to short. Knobloch in the middle. Perfect throw this time, and the inning is over. The first time the Red Sox are held scoreless in a half inning. Into the 5th. Pedro back to the hill. 6-0 Boston. Pedro Martinez from the Dominican Republic has really grown to love pitching for the Red Sox and living here in the Boston area. Still lives with his sister. His sister lives with him, and at any point you could find him with friends and relatives surrounding him. Good family man, and now joined by his brother Ramon Martinez on this Red Sox staff. Ramon throwing so well in Game 2 only to end up with a loss. He's enjoying watching younger brother Pedro work on these Yankees as he misses high. Ball 1 to Leday. 6-0 Boston, 5th inning now, and Leday, Brocious, and Posada will bat for the Yankees. That's down the left field line, falling in a hurry and falling foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. Population of just under 8 million. The Dominican Republic. Santo Domingo is the capital. So many players from Santo Domingo. Religion 95% Roman Catholic. President Reyna was actually in the United States and witnessed Sammy Sosa hit his final home run of the season on the final Sunday of the year in St. Louis against the Cardinals. You saw one of their exports baseball players, to say the least. 1-2 the count on Leday. Is he the 9th strikeout victim? Lived to see another pitch as he was out in front of that delivery.
You could say good left-handed hitters that the Yankees have, reaching, staying back, swinging errantly at high fastballs. These are good major league hitters.
Another strikeout, number 9, and these good major league hitters didn't look so good on September 10th. The complete game victory at Yankee Stadium. Struck out the side in the 7th inning, going right through the heart of the order, and eventually gets the congratulations after the final out. A one-hitter and a 3-1 victory, and the only hit was a home run by Chili Davis. We've already talked, that is one of the most dominating performances any pitcher has thrown out there in the last 20 years. And the box score from that game, the one hit for Chili Davis. You see the strikeouts piling up to a total of 17. Brocious, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, Pedro struck out the side a total of 18 times in 213 innings plus this season, including the 2nd inning of this ball game today.
Line drive caught by Garciaparra. We already showed you the 2 catches he made in game 1. He almost went up too high. That ball knuckled on him, and he had to reach down in a way to catch this ball.
Almost hurtled over it.
Fairly routine catch for Nomar Garciaparra, not quite to the level of the ones we saw earlier in this postseason, but nice play nonetheless.
And with 2 out, nobody on, Jorge Posada stands in for the first time. Took over for Girardi behind the plate. And this move makes all the sense in the world for Joe Torre.
Yankees trailing by 6 runs. You put in a catcher who will deliver, for the most part, more offense. Switch hitting Jorge Posada.
2 outs with the bases empty, and 1 ball, 1 strike on Posada. Posada, 28 years old, hit 17 home runs last year. Down to 12 this season. And at one point had such difficulty behind the plate, the Yankees asked him to get his eyesight checked. That's not a good thing to do. That's not a good sign. Strikeouts piling up. Broken bat, left side. Valentin showing range in an arm, and another 1-2-3 inning for Pedro Martinez with help from John Valentin. Pedro appreciates it. Caps gloves with Valentin and Garciaparra, still 6-0 Boston. For the past 75 years, millions have watched the Goodyear blimps hover over special events. Above, it's the Spirit of Akron carrying on that proud Goodyear tradition. You can find out more about the Goodyear blimp fleet on the internet at www.goodyear.com. Bottom of the 5th inning, and the Red Sox will step in. Daubach, who homered against Uramu last inning, make it in the 3rd inning. First batter faced by Hideki Uramu will lead it off, and here's what that home run looked like.
Golfed a down and in fastball down that right field line. Talk about the short porch at Yankee Stadium. There's a short porch here as well. It's a smaller porch, but it's short also.
It's like a veranda. Pesky pole down there. That is what it's known after, named after Johnny Pesky, who used to wrap him around, curl him around that pole as a right-handed batter for so many years for Boston. And it has been certainly lived up to its name as far as pitchers are concerned. It has been pesky as far as they're concerned.
In the corner of the Yankee dugout, down the right field line, a 1 ball, 1 strike count on Daubach. First up in the 5th inning. And 2-1 from Uramu. First reports about Uramu when the Padres ended up with him and the Yankees had to make a trade to get the rights to Hideki Uramu was that he would come here from Japan with, and there's another shot into right field. That ball takes a hop into the seats, a ground rule double. I was just about to talk about something related, that he would come to the United States with a 98-mile-per-hour fastball. He has never come close to throwing that hard. He's got a good arm, but he may have been a little overrated coming over from Japan.
Daubach gets a very similar pitch than the one he homered on back in the 3rd inning. This time a lot of topspin. Ball gets out into right field, dives down, hits that warning track, and bounces up into the stands.
So a leadoff double. And now this one into right field off the bat of Darren Lewis, and that'll rattle around down in the corner. Into scored Daubach, into second, back-to-back doubles. Lewis and Daubach change places, and it's 7-0 Boston. This Red Sox offense is finally busting loose.
Talked about Lewis earlier in the game being an opposite field hitter. You can see him tomahawk that ball to right field. At best, you get a base hit, drive the runner home. At worst, you advance that runner over to third base with 1 out.
Now 1 out of 9 in the ALCS is Darren Lewis, and Trot Nixon takes a strike. Nixon with a pair of doubles this afternoon and evening. Gets his average up to 261 in the postseason. One ball, one strike.
I'll know I'll hear from him if I don't correct what I said in the last inning about Johnny Pesky. I said he was a right-handed hitter. Obviously, he was a left-handed hitter. Johnny, a longtime coach for the Boston Red Sox. What a great guy. And a great player for the Sox for so many years.
He had a pole named after him down the right field line. He had only 17 career home runs.
Yeah.
You hit all 17 of them around that pole, you deserve to have it named after you.
Yeah.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Trot Nixon, runner at second. And out in front. And Nixon will head back to the dugout, the first out of the inning. That's the first strikeout for Hideki Arabu. And it brings in Offerman against his 4th at bat here in the 5th inning, and he should get a nice hand. He got this game started well for the Red Sox with a leadoff triple. He's 2 out of 3 today. Runner at second, 1 away. Offerman. Strike 1. Valentin next. He popped a home run in the 1st inning. 1 ball, 1 strike. Talked about that controversial contract that Jose Offerman signed. With his postseason coming in at .429, now 2 out of 3 tonight. Get the regular season worth every penny as he shoots it foul off to the left. Now in the hole, 1-2.
Jose Offerman, one of 76 major leaguers to homer his first at bat. The odd thing about Jose doing that was he only had 4 home runs the next 4 years after that. Hit his first major league home run on August 19th, 1990 against Dennis Martinez.
Coming up tonight on NBC at 7:30 Eastern, Game 4, the Braves and the Mets back at Shea Stadium. The Braves winning last night 1-0. Tommy Glavine a strong start. 3 games to none. So the Mets facing elimination tonight. And then tomorrow at 4 Eastern, if necessary, Game 5, the Braves and the Mets on NBC. And tomorrow night at 7:30 Eastern, Game 4 of this series. We know there will be a Game 4. Red Sox trying to make it a Yankee advantage of 2-1 for tomorrow night. On their way to doing that, leading 7-0 here in the 5th inning.
That odd 9th inning last night at Shea Stadium. Bobby Valentine in a 1-0 game pinch hit Todd Pratt for Robin Ventura. Ventura driving in 115 runs this year. Odd things happening at Shea last night.
so the Mets hope to at least force a game 5 tomorrow. They'll have to beat a good one in Smoltz tonight. How about that? We were talking about that before the game. You're the Mets. You have a terrific season. You fight hard at the end. After a collapse, you fight hard just to get there. You win a division series against Arizona in thrilling fashion. But now you're down 3-0. You have Smoltz tonight. And if you should survive that, you go back to Maddox, Millwood, and Glavine into game 7. Offerman strikes out, and that's back-to-back strikeouts for Hideki Irabu.
Coupled with the fact that no team ever down 3-0, and baseball has come back to win any postseason series as Offerman is down on the splitter.
So Offerman gone, retired for the 2nd time tonight, and John Valentin, who was homered and driven in a run with a ground out, as Lewis at 2nd, 2 away. And a breaking ball in for a strike. By the way, tomorrow in game 4 of this series, it'll be Andy Pettitte, the left-hander, against Brett Saberhagen, who has had 2 rough starts in the postseason so far for Jimmy Williams and the Red Sox. He started game 5 of that division series, but it was Pedro Martinez who finished. Here is that matchup. Last 2 postseason outings. 2-0 for Pettitte with an ERA of under 1. Clinching the '98 World Series against San Diego, taking on Saberhagen, who's allowed 11 earned runs in under 4 innings this postseason. Good fastball over the outside corner, strike 2 on Valentin.
That's the best fastball Irabu has thrown. That had some zip on it, some pop. What you like to do with those fastballs, move that catcher's glove.
Valentin stays alive.
And the fact that Saberhagen is starting for the Red Sox tomorrow makes it all the more important that Pedro Martinez is able to work deep into this ball game tonight. Saberhagen figures to need some relief help in that ball game tomorrow if his performance in the postseason is any indication.
Runner at 2nd with 2 out in the 1-2 pitch. Valentin grounds one through the left side. Here comes Lewis. Throw by Leday. Safe as Posada dropped it. And it's 8-0 Red Sox here in the 5th.
We talked about this 2 nights ago when Jason Varitek, in receiving the throw from right fielder Trot Nixon, kept his mask on and saying how it was epidemic with major league catchers. Saw Mike Piazza, the Mets, last night take a shot with his mask on, a mild concussion. Not saying that Jorge Posada with the mask off could have made the play here. But we asked Joe Torre going into Torre's office the other day at Yankee Stadium and asked him about what he did in situations like this. He said, we took our mask off. We were trained that way. But more major league catchers are keeping that mask on plays at home plate. My judgment, that is the wrong thing to do.
Get a look at the play by Jason Varitek. In game 1, strong throw from Trot Nixon, especially on this play. The throw coming from right field. As a catcher, you have to pick that runner up with your peripheral vision. Mike Piazza in the ball game last night, bowled over by Brett Boone at home plate. And then we just saw the play by Posada at home with his mask on as well. I was taught the same way, Tim, to always take the mask off to give yourself better vision. I think too many catchers are worried about protecting themselves behind the plate rather than making the play.
I think there's less protection when you keep your mask on. You've got a runner barreling in, and you've got steel against your face.
Irabu gets the strikeout. He strikes out the side, but 2 more runs in the 5th inning for the Red Sox. Another big night for John Valentin. And the Red Sox down 2-0, lead it by 8. Welcome back to Fenway Park. Beautiful night. And the scoreboard looks good for the Red Sox and their faithful. It's an 8-0 lead. Joe Buck Rob Brentley and Tim McCarver with you, and well, we know what the headlines are going to be. We know at least what they're going to be about the pitching matchup coming in, and so far it's the 27-year-old outperforming the 37-year-old and the former ace around here, Roger Clemens.
We've had half the pitching matchup perform according to Hoyle this evening.
And Pedro shows no signs of letting up either.
No,
still
sir.
right on top of his game.
And now in the 6th inning, top of the order, Knobloch will lead off. Oh for 1 with a walk. Knobloch hitting .250 in this series, floats one into shallow center. Darren Lewis, a running catch, one away. You know, we were talking in game 2, Tim, and you and I have talked about it on the Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week, about the curse of the Bambino and the easy correlation between the Red Sox postseason struggles and the no World Championship since 1918, and the New York Yankees and the 24 World Championships, first one being in 1923 after Babe Ruth went to the Yankees. Now we get time called as Rick Reed, the home plate umpire, goes out to visit with Pedro Martinez, who has to retie his shoes. Look at Babe Ruth, who pitched here for the Red Sox, in fact won 2 games during the 1918 World Series, and he was sold to the Yankees for $125,000 for the 1920 season. Harry Frazee, the owner, was trying to bankroll musical No No Nanette, and it was no don't do it. But he did it, and since then we've already, and I'm sure Boston and Yankee fans for that matter, are sick of the details which we and the print media keep pounding them over the head with. But it is very much alive in this 1999 postseason. But there's more to the history between these two franchises than just Ruth going from Boston to New York. Ruth's manager with the Red Sox, Ed Barrow, who turned Ruth into an outfielder, put him in the lineup, actually followed Ruth at the end of that season to New York. Derek Jeter has a 1-ball 1-strike count. And it was Ed Barrow who surrounded himself with top-notch scouts. Eventually had Paul Critchell on his staff, who went out and signed Gehrig. That led to the hiring of George Weiss, who set up the farm system as the farm director. That's a foul ball. And what you had there was the building of the Yankee dynasty. So not only do you have the curse of the Bambino with Babe Ruth moving to the Yankees, but you have Ed Barrow, who has a plaque out in Monument Park, moving to the Yankees and setting up what was an incredible system of funneling talent to the big league club, which set up the most dominating franchise of the century. Stolen from the Red Sox organization as well. The 1-2 pitch is outside to Jeter, 2-2.
Other arguments that have fueled the fires. Was Joe DiMaggio a better player than Ted Williams? Yankee fans say yes, but not Red Sox fans.
Jeter says goodbye, as that's 10 strikeouts, double-digit strikeouts for Pedro Martinez as he gets Derek Jeter here in the 6th inning.
Pedro Martinez had 19 double-figure strikeout games this year. Randy Johnson tied a major league record with 23 double-figure strikeout games. And to show you how dominating Johnson and Martinez were this year, to show you a fascinating graphic.
Paul O'Neill will watch the first pitch in for a strike.
The other 28 teams in the major leagues not only didn't have any pitcher with 23 or 19 double-figure strikeout games, their teams, the New York Yankees and the Houston Astros, Their teams had only 7.
Nasty pitch, and O'Neill went fishing for it. Martinez has him set up at 0-2.
Another great changeup from Pedro Martinez, baiting down and out of the strike zone.
One ball, 2 strikes. Strikeouts for Pedro Martinez. He is having fun here tonight in Game 3. Game 1 went to the Yankees in 10. Game 2 to the Yankees 3-2. Cone over Ramon Martinez. Tonight it's Pedro and the Red Sox leading by 8. Building from across the street here in Boston. Pulling back into Fenway Park, and it's been all Boston. Only 2 hits for the Yankees. 8-0. Garciaparra now. He will lead it off with O'Leary and Stanley to follow, and there's a ball from Arabu.
Another jumping catch of a humpback line driver by Nomar Garciaparra.
As you said at the time, extremely routine for one of the game's best, and a base hit for Nomar into right. He's been on base 4 times tonight, 3 out of 4. And he reached on an error. And you wonder, and Tim, you brought this up, and it was what I was thinking. You know, it's what Bob was thinking. But you brought it up during the break. You've got to start thinking about taking Pedro Martinez out of this game.
I think so. I mean, he's got a bad back. Last time he pitched was Monday night against Cleveland, pitching 6 innings. He has thrown 91 pitches, and the Red Sox do have an 8-run lead.
Troy O'Leary now with a runner at first. They don't hold against Garciaparra, and there's a strike.
Pedro averaged 112 pitches in his starts throughout the regular season. He topped out with 137 in an outing against the Indians back in April. 91 pitches in the game.
Pitches by innings, and within those pitches, he has 11 strikeouts on the night. As I mentioned, only 2 hits allowed, as O'Leary grounds to the first baseman Martinez. Out at second, and no return throw. The force out 3-6. In case you're wondering, Pedro Martinez, if this series should go 7 games, is scheduled to pitch the 7th game, which would be on Thursday. But with the off day, the travel day, if you kept his pitches down, and he's right now probably on the verge of pitching and throwing too many pitches anyway, with 91 on the night, maybe you could force him into a game 6 if you needed him. But if he were to pitch on Wednesday, that would be with 3 days rest. Stanley takes a ball 0 away. There is no action in either bullpen at the moment.
If the league championship series does go 7 games, and you may see the Martinez brothers pitch again, so that would be 4 starts for 2 each, Ramon and Pedro. It evokes the World Series. Thoughts about the World Series back in 1934, when Dizzy Dean and brother Paul won all 4 Cardinal games. They started 5 games in the World Series, Cardinals against the Tigers, and won 4 of them, with Dizzy winning the last game. That was a game in which Ducky Medwick was taken out of the game by Commissioner Kennesaw Mountain Landis for his own protection, and the Cardinals won 11-0.
Dizzy, Daffy, and Ducky.
Pretty good brother combination there. Dizzy and Paul Dean. Another pretty good brother combination right there. Ramon on the left and Pete.
And you can really see Ramon getting back to where he was. He's never going to have, or he may never have, the overpowering fastball, but boy, he was tough in Game 2 at Yankee Stadium. The fastball had a lot of movement to it. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Have changed his mechanics, Ramon's mechanics. Joe Kerrigan has. Try to take some of the stress off that shoulder and elbow. Another day at the office for Pedro. See if they send O'Leary. He stays put on 3-2, and Stanley lines it into left for Leday. After a leadoff single, next 2 retired, 2 out. The hitter will be Dahlbach. Teammates, the Cardinals in 1934 to 1937. Dizzy was 30-7. Paul 19-11 on that 1934 World Champion team.
Dizzy Dean, the Hall of Famer, won 150 games for the Cardinals. A little over 150. The Hall of Famer, a similar career as Sandy Koufax had. Sandy retiring age 30 with that arthritic elbow.
And these two, when you talk about careers and their career records, Ramon Martinez, who was 4 years older than Pedro, only 18 more wins.
Talked about it during the division series. Just having a little fun. Can you imagine the burnout games they must have had down in the Dominican Republic when they were young?
Burnout is get it, throw it as hard as you can.
Try to make the other guy drop it.
Dahlbach goes the other way into left field, and Leday will play the wall and miss it. All the way around from first is O'Leary, and it's 9-0 Boston. You talked about Leday in left, and he did not look too sure of himself on a ball that should have been caught.
Talked about Leday and the problems he's had in left field at Yankee Stadium, and you can see wary of the wall. Where is it? First with the glove, now with the bare hand. Proper method is to go to the wall and back off. And this ball's got to be handled. Probably an error on Ricky Leday. First with the glove, and now the bare hand. An error, a 2-base error. Talked about it earlier. Leday had not had a problem with the wall before that. Of course, he played 1 ball off the wall, but clearly problems right there.
And as this lead continues to grow, curse or not, with a bad back, you have to have thoughts of taking Pedro Martinez out of this game.
I would think so.
And I know you've got to be concerned about the Yankees, and these are the world champs, and they won a total of 125 games last year. But at some point, you have to put some faith in your bullpen and hope that they can come up with 9 outs before the Yankees can score 9 runs.
And Jimmy Williams has a full complement down in that bullpen tonight. Rich Garces is back in action tonight after suffering a pulled muscle under his right armpit, and Derek Lowe has had 2 days off for the first time since the last week of the regular season. So those guys are down there ready to go. Of course, Jimmy Williams may be like the rest of us. He just likes to watch Pedro pitch.
And to go along with what you said earlier with Saberhagen, who has struggled pitching tomorrow night, the more you can rest your bullpen, the better off you are tomorrow night. Short term or long term. As Lewis fouls it away right side, 2-2.
And we don't want to give the impression that Pedro Martinez, obviously he's the dominant pitcher on this staff, but this is a staff that led the American League in earned run average. So they have other guys that can pitch too. First time a Red Sox team has led the American League in earned run average since 1914.
2 balls, 2 strikes, runner at second, 2 out. And now a full count on Darren Lewis. Dahlbach has been a pain in the neck to Arabu. Arabu came in the 3rd inning, and Dahlbach immediately pounded a 2-run home run into right. Dahlbach led off with a double in the 5th inning and scored. Now at least hit it deep enough to bother Ledain left. He couldn't make the catch to add another run. And Lewis pops it up. In comes Williams, and this should end the inning. So Lewis flies out. Another run for the Red Sox, and after 6 they lead by 9. How much longer will Pedro go? We go to the 7th inning, and we're back after this from your local Fox station.
Now batting for New York, number 51, the center fielder, Bernie Williams.
Pedro Martinez goes back to the hill as we get into the 7th inning now. A 9-0 Red Sox lead. I'm sure Jimmy Williams will keep a close eye on Pedro Martinez, but still no action for the Red Sox out on their bullpen. They have a guy like Pat Rapp who hasn't appeared in the postseason. Bryce Fleury maybe not willing at this point to take a chance, but if he's not going to pitch in a 9-0 game, why is he on the roster? I mean, there's never a time, except if you're down 9-0, when a guy like that would pitch. 0-1 the count on Bernie Williams. And a jam shot. Jose Offerman. Broken bat. And that's 8 straight retired by Martinez.
It's only the 3rd ball that's been hit well off Martinez. The single by Jeter, and then the line drive by Brocious caught by Garciaparra. And now this ball hit fairly well by Bernie Williams. Nice play Offerman.
There's no such thing as a comfortable at bat against Pedro Martinez, where you can look for a pitch in a location and take a good aggressive swing at it. Even when the Yankee hitters are ahead in the count, they look defensive.
Now Tino Martinez, who is 1 out of 2 with a single and a strikeout, takes a strike. In case you're wondering, Martinez, who struck out 11, still 4 short of tying the LCS record for strikeouts in a game. Mike Messina, Baltimore at Cleveland in '97. Livan Hernandez, Florida against Atlanta, game 5 in '97. Division series record 16 strikeouts by Kevin Brown. San Diego at Houston last year, and the series record the 17 we talked about with Bob Gibson, St. Louis and Detroit game 1. 1968. Might this be strikeout number 12? Just missed. 1-2. Another strikeout. Tino Martinez is gone, and that's 12 on the night for Pedro. We show you most strikeouts per 9 innings pitched. Among starters, minimum 100 innings pitched. And Pedro Martinez, throughout history, the top ratio at 13.2. He has 12 on the night. And that's a pretty good list of names there, including the all-time strikeout king, Nolan Ryan. Now with 2 out, nobody on, here's Chili Davis, who struck out twice, strike 1.
The amazing thing about Martinez, if you look at a pitching chart after a major leaguer starts a ball game, many times all the fastballs will be 90, 91, 90, 91. All the breaking balls will be 82, 83, 82, 83. Martinez will throw 6 or 7 miles per hour difference in his fastball, the same thing in his changeup, the same thing in his breaking ball. He has such a good feel for what that hitter's trying to do at the plate, and then do just the opposite. Don Zimmer used to talk about Greg Maddux in his days with the Cubs, how he had a feel for pitching. He almost knew when that hitter was going to turn around and look for a fastball, so he'd take a little bit off of it.
2 out with the bases empty. 9 straight retired by Martinez, and the 1-1 pitch to Chili Davis. Tried to check his swing. He did, according to Tim Tashida. The count 2-1.
Did Chili Davis go too far? Close.
In an odd move, the Red Sox actually left tickets for tonight's game. You know how hard tickets are to come by. The Red Sox left tickets for David Wells for tonight's game. Former Yankee who left New York kicking and screaming when he was traded to Toronto for Roger Clemens. Graham Lloyd and Homer Bush also involved in the deal, but they don't know whether Wells is here or not. If he isn't here, he's missed a wonderful start and pitching performance by Pedro Martinez. And it's still full on Chili Davis.
For some reason, I find it surprising that David Wells would go to a baseball game on a Saturday night.
Unless the Red Sox brought him in here, as you said before the game, maybe as the entertainment director after the game for his former teammates, the Yankees. Night game tomorrow, though. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, nobody on, and a 2-out walk. And action, it looks like, will finally start for the Red Sox out in their bullpen.
David Wells, being a memorabilia collector, owns a $35,000 Babe Ruth cap. Maybe they wanted him here to wear his Babe Ruth cap. That's as close as they could get.
Curse of the Bambino, bring the guy in who is wealthy enough and, can I say, foolish enough to spend $35,000 for a hat. The pop-up left side for Valentin off the bat of the day, and it's time to stretch here at Fenway. 105 pitches on the night for Pedro Martinez. Bottom of the 7th inning.
On game 2, he gave up the double, almost the home run, to Troy O'Leary to start that 8th inning the other night that lasted over 23 minutes. 13 players were used. Man.
Husky will pinch hit later tonight. Braves and Mets, game 4, with the Braves up 3-0 on NBC. And then tomorrow, 4 Eastern, game 5 if necessary, between Atlanta and the Mets on NBC. And game 4 of this series, 7:30 Eastern time tomorrow night. Yankees and Red Sox. Andy Pettit against Brett Saberhagen. Here's Husky pinch hitting for Daubach. And a strike from Stanton. Husky, who was at the plate in that long 8th inning of game 2, struck out against Ramiro Mendoza with the bases loaded, 1 out, and then Offerman flied to center to end a big scoring threat. The Yankees maintained their 1-run lead in the 8th and then survived 2 base runners in the 9th and won game 2 by a final of 3-2. Two on Husky.
On Thursday night, 23 minutes that 8th inning lasted. The Red Sox used 9 players, different players in that inning, and didn't score. The Yankees used 4 relievers, and Stanton started it all. And the Yankees won the game 3-2. What a bizarre inning that was.
That's the kind of inning that'll ruin your scorebook.
Husky grounds back to Stanton. And a long 7th inning is finally over for the Yankees, who are in the field. The Red Sox pounding on New York. 4 runs in the 7th inning. A 13-0 lead. Garcia Parra, the 3rd homer of the night for the Red Sox. All Boston in game 3. We are into the top of the 8th inning now with a 13-0 Red Sox lead. New pitcher is Tom Gordon. Record of 0-2 this season. 11 saves, only 21 games. Talked about the elbow problems. Able to avoid surgery. He likes the way he's throwing the ball, although he's had very little opportunity in this postseason. He was involved in Game 2 and issued a walk and was gone in a hurry. He's 1 ball 1 strike on Scott Brocious with Posada and Knobloch to follow. And there's Pat Rapp. 13-0 game. Pat loosens up. Brocious hits it well into deep left center field. At the wall. Goodbye. And the Yankees are at least on the scoreboard. Avoid the shutout. It's a 13-1 game. One of the few Yankee fans that is willing to admit at this point she's a Yankee fan, and we go down to Keith Olbermann.
Joe, a little bit more on Tim's informed speculation before that Roger Clemens left this game for more than just a bad pitching performance. It is not apparently the groin, at least that's not what is being discussed on the Yankee bench, but rather stiffness in the lower back, which of course could be a consequence of a groin problem. The other Yankees' pains are considered to be a little bit lower, but the Clemens thing appears to be a back stiffness, nothing serious. Back to you.
Keith. I got that. 1-run home on the home run, leading off by Brocious, and now Posada is in the hole 0-2. Posada 0 for 1 since he entered, hitting only a .111 in this postseason. Took over in the 4th inning for Girardi, and it's Soho on deck. So the Yankees are pulling out many of the regulars as we go down the stretch here in Game 3, with eyes on Game 4 tomorrow night. Saberhagen and Pettit. In case you're wondering, for the Yankees, their worst margin of defeat in postseason, 11 runs. Trailed here by 12. It was the 1996 World Series. Lost 12-1 against Atlanta. That was the margin of victory for the Braves in Game 1 of the 1996 World Series. Still 1-2 on Posada. David Cone, the winner in Game 2. Ricky Leday in need of a toothpick. And the combination up the middle for the Yankees, and there's a Yankee fan. The 1-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Ricky Leday may be using what's left of some of the bats after Pedro Martinez got rid of those bats tonight. There's Clay Bellinger, a rookie this year.
Posada, an easy fly ball into center for Darren Lewis. One away here in the top of the 8th inning with a run home for the Yankees.
Number 19, Luis Soho.
So with Joe Torre watching from the dugout, he sends Luis Soho to the plate. Bats for Knobloch and takes a strike. Red Sox really come into this ALCS without a clear-cut closer. Derek Lowe can do the job. Wakefield for part of the season during the regular season. He's not active for this ALCS. You have Gordon on the mound, who was their guy and one of the best before he hurt his elbow. Then there's Beck, who served up that pitch to Bernie Williams. Second pitch of the 10th inning in Game 1 and was the loser. 1-2 on Soho.
Derek Lowe, perhaps the most flexible of the Red Sox bullpenners. Valuable middle inning relief against Cleveland on 2 occasions. The Yankees hit him hard. I should say Cleveland hit him hard on Monday night before Pedro came in to balance things out.
Easy play for Gordon, and after the home run, 2 up, 2 down. Bellinger will stride to the plate and bat for Jeter.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. For New York, now batting for Jeter, number 35, Clay Bellinger. Bellinger. Now batting
Bellinger bats for Jeter, who was 1 for 3 while he was in there. All of that against Pedro Martinez. 200 hitter. Versatile player off the bench for Joe Torre. And a guy with decent running speed that he can use as a pinch runner. Some of the DHs late in the game, like Strawberry or Davis, don't run all that well anymore.
Clay Bellinger, a proud papa also. Bouncing baby boy, born 5 days ago. Their third child, his wife. From Oneonta, New York, about 17 miles from Cooperstown. Matter of fact, Clay used to play on the Little League fields in Cooperstown, named after Nelson Doubleday.
Kent Merker with the coach to quarterback communication system. If there's anybody in that dugout who I can imagine with that thing in their hand, it's Merker. Part of the comedic relief for Mark McGwire the first part of the season while with the Cardinals. One of the guys who could make him laugh. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And in that ball game the other night, you mentioned that long 8th inning when Jimmy Williams exhausted his bench. We were speculating that if he needed a pinch hitter, it would probably be Kent Merker. He spent the majority of his career in the National League. Swings a pretty good bat. If you get down to that, you're in deep trouble.
The 2-2 pitch from Gordon to Bellinger. Inning over. A home run from Brocious. The Yankees are on the board. But as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning with the Red Sox batting, they are in control, leading game 3 13-1. Folks, whenever the Goodyear blimp is hovering above with its camera focused on any event, you know you're going to get a unique view, and that's the case here tonight. Overhead is the Goodyear blimp Spirit of Akron, named after Akron, Ohio, the home of the world headquarters for the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. Number of changes for the Yankees. Shane Spencer is now in the game in left field. Chad Curtis is in the game now in center. He moves over to center field. You know that Leday is in right. Shortstop is Clay Bellinger. Luis Sojo is into the game at second base. The new pitcher is Alan Watson. Sojo, the second baseman. Alan Watson is the 4th pitcher of the night for the Yankees. And a ground ball base hit through the right side for Darren Lewis.
The 20th hit of the night for the Red Sox. Normally there's a saying in baseball that, hey, save some of those runs for tomorrow. But keep in mind that the Red Sox, once they started it last Saturday, it continued the Sunday and Monday against the Cleveland Indians. Of course, they're facing a much different pitching staff here with the Yankees. Andy Pettitte going against Brett Saberhagen tomorrow night.
To the left side, Bellinger fresh into the game, starts a 6-4-3 double play. Neatly turned by Bellinger and Sojo. 2 out, nobody on, and here's Offerman, who switches around and bats right-handed. The first time tonight, takes a ball. Two balls, no strikes. Comeback kid. Brett Favre has been just that for the Green Bay Packers this season. The 4th quarter, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. 3 4th-quarter victories. They will take on the Denver Broncos in a big game on Fox tomorrow. Ryan Greasy will be back at quarterback for Denver. Bubby Brister is hurt. Greasy, who helped the Broncos get their first win of the year last week, tries to build on that. 3 balls and a strike on Offerman. 2 out, nobody on. A little different look in the dugout for the Red Sox as Offerman gets another hit. That's his 3rd of the night. 3 out of 6 here in game 3.
Number 13, the third baseman, John.
Here's Valentin, who has homered, driven in a run with a ground out, driven in a run with a hit. His last 2 times up. Reverse the curse, hold a Ruth poster upside down. Is that what they've been missing all these years? Is it that simple? Ball to Valentin. There's a strike from Watson. Game 2, Alan Watson came out of the Yankee bullpen in that procession in the 8th inning. Came in and all he did was throw to one hitter and handed out an intentional walk. We talked about Watson smiling when Joe Torre left the mound in game 2. Joe Torre took some of the pressure off and everybody got a kick out of him saying, "You're too wild. You can't get it over the plate. Get out of here." Valentin is gone, and so are the Red Sox in the 8th inning. The New York Yankees, who have tied a record set by their 27 through the 32 Yankee team with 12 consecutive postseason victories. That record about to come to a close here in game 3 tonight. And it appears as if it'll be 2-1. The Yankees on top. Tonight it's all Boston. Damon Buford is now in center field. That kicks Darren Lewis over into right field, and Trot Nixon is out of the lineup. New catcher is Scott Hatteberg, and he catches the new right-hander Pat Rapp. Deals a fastball, and it's fouled back by Curtis. Rapp started 26 games for the Red Sox this year, had a record of 6-7, and an ERA over 4. Strike, and it's 0-2.
Sure, the Yankees are looking back on those first 2 games and realizing how important it was to win at Yankee Stadium.
Joe Torre knew it. He used Rivera for 2 innings in game 1. Emptied the bullpen in game 2. Trying to avoid at all costs a 1-1 series coming back to Boston to face Pedro Martinez. Pedro lived up to the pregame hype and billing. Roger Clemens did not. 2+ innings. That's it. 5 runs against the Rocket. Still 1-2 on Curtis. Going to break. We were talking about the 12-game winning streak in the postseason for the Yankees. See where they rank. Top 3 streaks tied with Oakland for the 2nd best, and this Yankee club just tied what the New York Yankees did from 1927 to 1932. Of course, all those World Series victories, 12 in a row. That streak will end here tonight. 1 out in the 9th inning as Curtis grounds out to Stanley. 1 away. Rivera, another night of rest, and Jeter left this game after the first 7 innings.
The left fielder, Shane Spencer.
There's Shane Spencer with 1 out, nobody on. Pedro Martinez now has thrown 17 consecutive scoreless innings this postseason. The all-time record, Christy Mathewson, 1905 with the Giants, threw 27 consecutive scoreless innings. Pedro's 17 ties him for 10. With Lonborg of the 67 Red Sox, who did it against the Cardinals. Ball, 1 strike on Spencer. And the records keep pouring in. 21 hits tonight for the Red Sox is an ALCS record. Yankees had the old record of 19 against Oakland in 1981.
The Lonborg streak back in 1967 included in game 2 a 7 2/3 innings no-hitter. Julian Javier breaking it up with a double in the 8th inning.
What a big night for Garciaparra. Backing up what he did in game 2. He was on base 4 times, had a 2-run homer. On base 5 times tonight with a 2-run homer. It's 3-2 now on Spencer.
Gentleman Jim, a dentist in the Boston area. Very successful practice. After he finished his pitching careers, went to Tufts, got his dental degree.
A 1-out walk, and Spencer's on here in the 9th inning. Coming up tonight on Fox after we're finished here in Boston at Fenway, 8 o'clock Eastern. Cops. Back-to-back episodes of Cops, to be specific, at 9 o'clock, America's Most Wanted. Late night tonight, Mad TV. That's tonight on Fox. Tino Martinez is 1 for 3. And a fly ball into left center field. Slices to O'Leary. 2 down. And the Yankees down to their final out here in game 3. He caught that guy.
He's just glad this one's going to finally end.
So the Yankee fans will hang their heads here in Boston tonight. Visions of Roger Clemens out dueling Pedro Martinez. It's been all Pedro and the Red Sox tonight, leading 13-1. About to trail the Yankees in this ALCS by only 1 game. Up the middle, Garciaparra has a kick off his right shin, and the game continues. Davis is on here in the 9th inning.
Nomar had the bag with which to contend. Watch, it bounces right behind the bag, hits the heel of the glove. And it's probably going to be an error on Garciaparra.
It is.
Looked like he may have been trying to find that bag and pick that ball on the short hop, step on the bag, and end the game. Took his eye off the ball just at the last instant.
The 7th error in this postseason for Boston doesn't matter. Offerman makes the play. The day is gone, and this game is over. It's now 2-1. The Yankees out in front as the Red Sox take care of New York 13-1 here in game 3. We'll come back to Fenway Park, wrap up game 3 in just a moment. Pedro and the Red Sox, too much for the Yankees tonight, winning 13-1.
All right, welcome back to Fenway Park as the Red Sox win game 3 big, 13-1. Pedro Martinez, of course, game 3 starter. Pedro, it didn't look like you had your great fastball tonight, but you still dominated the game with your other pitches.
Well, I wouldn't say dominating, but I'll say just bits. I had my teammates behind me and just got to protect me because I didn't feel well at all.
How important was it then for your team to jump out in front? Val hits the big home run early. You could settle in and kind of get into a rhythm out there knowing you had a lead.
It was great to just get the lead and get Roger off his game and knock him out early. After that, I just tried to get my first out, and then from there on, the other inning after that, and kept going. And they kept swinging at bad pitches and a lot of low changeups and breaking balls, and I got away with it.
Yeah, you got away with it because I think they keep thinking that you can throw that fastball by them, and occasionally you did reach back and have the good fastball. You really mixed your pitches up tonight.
I had to because I didn't feel well at all when I came out of the bullpen, and I knew I had to pitch. I knew I had to work hard if I wanted to win, and after seeing Roger struggle more than I did, I decided to just go ahead and give it all.
I know that you're certainly satisfied with the win, but are you disappointed at all that Roger didn't throw as well as he did tonight?
No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm extremely happy that he pitched the way he did, and he understands the way I feel, and he understands the way it is. He gave it up, and I won today. It could have happened to me too.
All right, Pedro, thank you very much for joining us. Congratulations, continued success.
Thank you.
All right, let's go back to Joe Buck.